Hello Stirling, fan here. I've purchased 6 bottles of wood, 3 bottles of fire formula because my initial purchase was the hook how I grew my penis and was super satisfied with the results. I would like to congratulate you on the work you're doing to uplift young men. Thank you very much. I live in the west, eastern Berlin. Women here are super liberal. I know, I've been there. Super career orientated, and I've seen way too many men become henpecked. We say pussy whipped. Destroyed in court to consider serious dating. I've seen you advise young men that to attract the women they desire, they need to become the man in the first place, and they need to first work on themselves before taking dating seriously. I mean, you can do the two. I would say you do the two simultaneously. I'm taking care of fitness, fit, daily gym visits, weights, cardio, occasional participation in Muay Thai fights. Nice work, well done. 2, money. I'm a 25-year-old mathematics researcher in the corporate world with a master's degree, but I'm also working towards erecting a business. I hope to find full-time on a business after developing a decent revenue level of $8K a month or higher. Well, you could do the same. I'd say you could do the two at the same time, honestly. Question. What would be your advice for me to focus on at the moment to improve my chances of success at landing a more traditional woman? Great question. Should I focus mainly on the monetary aspect, more on fitness, or would you advise me to move to a location where my dating chances would improve? Or considering that I'm 25 years old, would you ask me to completely eliminate dating from my schedule, focus solely on work, and get back into dating in a year or two? Please let me know your advice. Much appreciated, all the good work you're doing. P.S. I was specifically asking about the influence of location on dating aspects because I've observed that living in East Germany, West Poland, yeah, okay, there we go. I've had a relatively limited dating pool of women to choose from, probably because ethnicity, my ethnicity is black. I may be incorrect on this point, but I was recently in Thailand as I entered a Muay Thai fight, and I was relatively successful in landing dates there. Super interesting. Yeah, I'd say, okay, I'm glad you mentioned that you're black, because definitely in Poland, that's going to be it's going to be much harder for you to date a white Polish chick in Poland, like in that area of Europe, if you're a black guy, 100%. In Germany, I would suspect not so much. Germany's pretty liberal in that regard. But in terms of finding good, also I'm not sure. I don't know what your religion is either, by the way. But actually, I have a friend. You might be interested in talking to as well. Abu American is his name. He's an American guy who used to work on military bases or something. He immigrated to Germany. He's a Muslim man. He's got 3 wives right now. Black American guy. And he has great success dating Muslim German women, or finding Muslim women in Germany, I should say. And they're about they're as traditional as you can get, like a job and all that lot. So they do exist. They 100% exist. The Muslim community in Germany is a growing community, and there's full of traditional women. So you do absolutely have the option there. I'm not sure if that is something that's in your is up your alley or not, or whatever. But back to the question: where would your advice be to focus on at the moment to improve my chances of living a successful, more traditional woman? So the first thing I'd say is be very fundamentally clear on exactly what you want. Literally write it down. A fucking list. Get down a bullet point list. What's her age? What's her ethnicity? What language does she speak? What does she study? What does she do? What jobs does she work? Or what jobs has she worked in the past? What jobs hasn't she worked? What careers hasn't she pursued? What beliefs does she have? What beliefs doesn't she have? What is she? Can she be led by a man? Is she open to being led by a man? Is she open to a traditional role? Does she want to be a mother? Is she religious? Is she well read? These are all questions you can ask yourself. You can get as detailed as you want. Because I've done this approach, and I've had friends who've done this approach, and it's been very, very successful. Being really, really crystal clear on exactly what you want from a woman. It's like the term traditional woman. I kind of understand what you mean, but it could be different for me than you, or we mean for the traditional woman. So you want to get really, really crystal clear on exactly what you want. And that will help, and that will activate a thing that's called your reticular activation system. You're going to start looking for this stuff and finding it. Once you start looking for it, you're going to find it easier. For example, if you've ever bought a car, if you've ever bought a new car, you will immediately start seeing that car everywhere after you've bought it. That's called reticular activation system. It's a part of your brain that like switches on. So I'd start with that, and then practically, like, you know, I'll add the rest of this question. So I focus mainly on monetary aspect or fitness, or would you advise me to move to a location where dating chances could improve? I would say that you can find traditional women everywhere. You can, but the problem is that you have to be they're easier to find in different places. Like the Middle East, for example, very easy to find a traditional woman. And they're actually stunning. Like Turkish women, Iranian women, Iraqi women, Kuwaiti women, Saudi's a bit harder. Emirati women in Dubai also a bit harder to bag. But there's a few countries around there. The women are stunning. Persian women are fucking gorgeous, and they're very traditional. They're very great. They make great wives, great girlfriends. So that is an option for you. I don't know. I mean, sounds like you might be getting to a point where you are very flexible with your location. So you could move to somewhere like Dubai or something, and that's where these women, they will often go there, and that's part of the dating pool. You also get lots of like Kazakhstani women, Kurdistan women, Russians, Poles, Ukrainians, more Russians, Ukrainians going to places like Dubai as well. Dubai is very expensive though. We'll definitely say that. I'm just throwing out ideas here for you. But should you focus on your monetary aspect and your fitness? I would say yes. However, you are 25, so like it's like you do have all the time in the world. Like as a man, you have a lot longer than a woman does. But I wouldn't necessarily say put off finding like a long-term girlfriend until you're as old as me. I would not advise that to anyone. If you can lock down a good girl in your mid to late 20s, fucking nice, well done. Keep it good. Keep it. That's a woman you make a family with. I wouldn't eliminate dating entirely from your schedule. Never leave it leave it open, and leave kind of like you have to try and find a way. If you've ever been fishing, you can you can cast, if you're on an ocean fishing, you cast out like 3 or 4 like lines off the back of the boat, and you let them like trawl behind you, and then you just chill and have a beer. So you can't, what you're trying to try and do is like cast out lines to like for the women that kind of meet your criteria and are interested in you to like latch onto while you focus on other things. So you're kind of doing the two things at once. And the easiest way to do that is typically with social media or with like online dating, having a profile like that. Maybe it's something you dedicate an hour a week to, if that, like swiping and talking and messaging like on a Sunday. Sunday evenings are the best time, by the way, for doing that kind of conversation. Just trust me on that. So there's a lot. We've talked about a lot here already, but in terms of like traditional women, what kind of women are you into? If you're into Asian women, then places like Thailand, Bali, Indonesia, super easy for foreigners to attract women and have a successful woman. Thailand, you've got to be careful. A lot of them have been escorts before. A lot of them have been prostitutes. So you've got to kind of vet for that sort of stuff. Indonesia, they're Muslims, so that's not likely. But they still, like Western men, still have a gravitas to them throughout Asia. So they like if you have the ability to be flexible with your travel, then the world's your oyster. And you can kind of bounce around and see the different dating marketplaces. Brazil is another option. Stunning women. Colombia, stunning women. Got to be very careful in these countries though. Don't be a gringo who gets himself fucking killed. But these countries have women who are very, very traditional and extremely sexy, by the way. But they're far more traditional than the average Western liberal woman. So South America is another option, and it's a lot of fun, very cheap. You just have to be very safety aware, OPSEC, operational security. You have to be very, very hyper aware to not put yourself in a compromising situation and be put in a dangerous situation. So there's a few options on the table for you. You really have, but I think it starts with you sitting down and creating a really clear, crystal clear idea in your own head of exactly what you're looking for in a woman.